Hello everyone, we are from Group 4. We will explain about how we develop a high quality classroom test. I'm Risya Rismaya as the first presenters, and I will explain about first developing tests. We all know that there is no one way to design a test, but there are generally accepted standards that should apply in all testing activity, whether they take place in our classroom as a result for our own test development across a program, system, nation, or around the world. And the key standard we apply in judging the quality of tests include first, measure what we intend it to measure. Second, adequately represent or sample the outcome, content, skill, ability, or knowledge we are measuring. And last, elicit information useful in informing our teaching and supporting our students' learning. Second, key term and concept in test development. There are a few key terms that must be defined in order to define test development. First, construct definition. Construct definition defined as the process of determining what we intend to measure. A construct is most often theoretically or empirically informed, in this case by research into the context in which language is used. It may be identified in a curricular document that specifies learning objective or defined by the learning outcome for a course. And second, criterion and norm reference assessment. Criterion reference assessment main goal is to describe what students know and can do. We must develop items and tasks that will measure whether our students have reached or accessed a defined learning outcome of a course we are have teach. Yields and TOEFL are the one of the example of this assessment. And second, a test or assessment procedure known as norm reference assessment. The goal of a test or assessment procedure is to compare a student performance with other students and to rank a student performance from high to low based on their peer test result. IQ is one of the examples of this assessment. And the third is target language use domain. According to Douglas 2000, target language use domain is to limit the test to a specific context, and the teacher should domain reference assessment or assessing language for specific purpose and use language that commonly used and tasks that happen on a regular basis in that domain. I think that's all from me. For the next material will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Desita Nabila. My student's number is 192-112, and today I will continue the materials about the important roles of test specification. Test specification describe a detailed summary of what scenarios will be tested, how they will be tested, how frequently they will be tested, and so on. It defines the purpose of a specific test, identify the required input and expected result, provided step-by-step instruction for carrying out the test, and the outline, the pass or fail criteria for determining acceptance. The collection of proof of functionality and continued use of these tests are critical requirements for validity. The process itself is referred to as test validation, step in test development process. The only part of test development process that is typically unresponsive to ongoing evidence gathering is the mandate. The first one is the mandate. As figure 4.1 illustrates, the mandate to test or not to test is the starting point for development process. The mandate for the new test is the determination that this is the most appropriate or meaningful assessment alternative for the purpose of the assessment. Mandates may arise internally, but alternatively, mandates may arise externally. The mandate is important because it is the fundamental basis for how the test will be designed. The next one is purpose. The mandate motivates the purposes of the test and provide parameters for the definition of constructions that are useful in testing. In determining the construct of interesting in testing, we need to answer the question, what do we need to measure to provide evidence of learning that address the mandate and purposes of the test. The next step is construct. The next step is key and complex. This is a statement of construct, specifies the construct or construct you want to measure in our test. What specific learning do we want to do? Such or how are these learning outcomes informed by the theory and research? The sample criterion descriptor is also a statement of construct. The next material is about a table of specification. Developing a table of specification for a test is the key features of high-quality testing. Table of specification, which is an overall blueprint, map, or summary of the test. A table of specification helps us to define in precise terms. It is important to record the revision and reflection that have influenced to the table or specification over time, its history, file them for future use, and add to them over time. Remember, table of specification are not written in stone. In the specification table provide table 4.2 note, an important rule of thumb is to look for the relationship between the amount of time allotted to a particular task and the amount of weight given. Another rule of thumb to consider is the relationship between task or items and point. Keep simple. There are 3 different items or type of tasks on this test specification table. The first one is extended written response for the summary writing section, and then multiple choice item for gender awareness section, and then constructed response or short answer for guessing vocabulary from the context section, and extended written response for the personal reflection section. I think that's all for me. For the next material will explained by my friends. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Ilma Khoerunnisa Ihwani. My student's number is 192122013. Right now, I would like to continue the presentation. The next important step in overviewing a test development process is to actually write the items and assignments that will comprise the test itself. First, it is important to distinguish between such items found in a multiple choice test and such tasks found in a summary or extended written response in a test. These correct items tend to have right or wrong answer, although in some cases partial credit may be given, and tend to measure one feature of a construct at a time. For example, main idea, vocabulary, supporting the titles. A task, on the other hand, is more complex. This usually involves performance, such as writing an essay, responding to questions in an interview, role playing, or reporting key information in a lecture. And this is the example of some commonly used item and task formats. Item formats include multiple choice, true or false, matching, ordering, and information transfer, and so on. And for the task formats, such as include essays, summaries, written reports, information gaps, oral interviews, presentation, role plays, interactional transfer, group-based interviews, integrated tasks, and so on. Well, the multiple choice scoring and rating can be identified by the correct answer for each item. The type of question beside in the pictures, the answers are awarded by points, which is much more complicated since the teachers need to consider partially correct answers. The example of scoring: item 1 with relation to the definition of the word condition. For example, 2 points for the complete answer, 1 point at least for the underlined phrases is included in the response, and 0 point for the non-information in the response. And do not award half 0.5. The specification will support overall reliability if the teachers marking it thoroughly follow the guidelines and the guidelines are specific enough to cover typical responses to the question on the test. And to score the section of the extended writing in the summary produced by the students or the test takers will generate a great deal of discussion among teachers when it comes to evaluating complex performance such as the extended writing elicited in section 1 and 4 in the book of the sample test considered here. And the teachers need to provide specific guidance to teachers for rating and marking. Such specific information would be detailed in the scoring section of a task specification. Um, the information is characteristically transferred to rating scales or marking eyes. And the next point of how do we develop a high quality classroom test is rating and scales. According to Cheng and Fox 2017, a rating scales is essentially a description of the behaviors, features, or characteristic of a performance, which are reference to point values that form a scale. That is typically a numerical range from low to high. A rating scale allows us to operationalize increasing levels of proficiency in a language, ability in language, and knowledge in language. To relate increasing levels to a numerical measure, the teachers are using a rating scale to situate an individual performance in relation to the continuum of learning. The next explanation will be explained by the next speaker.
Here I will continue the material from the previous presenters. Material as the evidence within the performance that teachers are evaluating in relation to descriptions of the amount, skill, ability, and competency. Mastery skills result in a pass or fail evaluation, or concerned with the degree of skill, ability, or competency that is evidenced in the performance. There are two types of such skills, namely holistic skills and analytic skills. The first is holistic skills. Holistic skills include the overall criteria of a rater. Raters consider a performance, in case in writing or in speaking, as a whole and relate their impressions to a scale that provides a criterion reference descriptions that is linked to the point. So this is the examples of holistic skills. And the second is analytical skills. Analytical skills identify the detailed features of performance separated into categories on the rating scales. The analytical skills are frequently preferable in assessment contexts due to much more information is provided to teachers as the test takers and students about specific aspects that students need to improve in a performance. For example, the teachers categorize such accuracies, grammar, vocabulary, comprehensibility, and content in evaluating a student's performance in an oral interview. And the next is task administration and analysis. It is beneficial to manage a brain you take a look at a set of college students at every other degree and to manage to take a look at the different colleges. We can acquire proof within inside the shape of take a look at taker questionnaires which ask our college students to offer remarks at the take a look at as an entire after they have completed their paintings. In addition to communicating responses without delay from take a look at takers with the purpose to compare how our take a look at is running and to discover what to revise, we also can adopt an easy, sincere evaluations of ways our gadgets and or applications are functioning. We can use the records
furnished via way of means of the general take a look at ratings to examine object problems. We can also examine how nicely an object discriminates among excessive appearing college students, or take a look at takers and occasional appearing ones. Object discrimination. So, from this table we will solutions all the following questions, such as the first, which object became easiest, the second, which object became the maximum difficult, do all the gadgets discriminate similarly nicely among excessive appearing and occasional appearing college students who were given this object proper, which object quality discriminates among excessive and occasional appearing college students, and the last is which gadgets might you revise or throw out.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Amelia Nurbani Amin. I'm from class A. My student's number is 1921237. Next, I want to explain about the test result. In 1954, discrete factor checks ruled the language trying out. In practice, more than one desired take a look at codex and norm reference trying out have been the only attention of many language trying out organizations. And troubles of validity and take a look at exceptional have been vigorously debated via a way of means of terrorists, researchers, and take a look at builders. And then, according to Abels, furnish pointers for judging the exceptional of an object, the use of a discrete factor take a look at. The take a look at can inform us in which we want to direct our coaching, which skills, concepts, understandings are lacking for a number of the scholars in our magnificence. Because our goal with inside the schoolroom is to assist the getting to know of all of our college students. It is not a horrific component if we discover a number of the gadgets on our take a look at are replied via way of means of all the college students in our magnificence. There are many different methods to judging object exceptional in is today. One that you can have heard of his Reich evaluation, which attracts on a complicated theory and calls for a huge number of checks to have a observe object problem and discrimination. Reich evaluation is past the scope of our dialogue of take a look at improvement and object evaluation. However, it smells and technique that has huge use in huge scale excessive text trying out able statement become a precursor to race evaluation in that is used the general ratings of character. Take a look at takers to overact records approximately the exceptional of an object inside a take a look at. And then about looking back at chapter 4, whether you are a character trainer running to explain the take a look at to your very own schoolroom or a member of a group, this is designing a take a look at for a degree 4 program. Specification push take a look at improvement will assist the meaningfulness of the records you elicit. The usefulness and appropriateness of the inferences you draw from take a look at performance and equity of trying out activity. Analyzing how your take a look at is running with getting an object proper, the object's normal problem, and the way your college students are responding to every of distractor is an extremely beneficial technique. To a reviewing a take a look at you have got developed. It is a method of trying out your very own take look and to make sure it miles measuring what you mean it to degree in a truthful and significant way. And then when there may be a clean mandate for a take a look at, it's miles critical to apprehend a way to construct a take a look at of the very best exceptional. Very best exceptional tests elicit an image of a student's mastery, ability, proficiency, or achievements. They findings along different types of evaluation, which include portfolio evaluation, which attracts on more than one research of proof of student improvement over time. Many instructors who use portfolio evaluation encompass a space with inside the portfolio for checks and quizzes, like different proof accumulated with inside the portfolio, splendid checks which can be confirmed and truthful, offer a clean photograph of what our college students have learned, recognized, and might do. And then the last is conclusion. In developing tests, there are key standards and concepts. These are construct definition, criterion, and norm, reference assessment, and then target language just defined. Not only that, test specification plays an important role. The process is also needed. There are overview of test development process. These are mandates, purpose, and construct. Table of specification also key feature of classroom test development. Rating and scoring is part of developing tests. From that we can get the test result. Okay, thank you. That's from us. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.